Well, Ron, thank you so much for joining me.
Glad to be here, and I've got some great stories to share with you today.
Oh, I'm sure you do. You're certainly a wealth of information, and you're involved in so many things. In fact, we just before we hit record, we were like, well, we should maybe save that for another time. So it seems like this is going to be part one of many visits with Ron Gilmore. So thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate that. So, Ron, first off, this is the Okotoks podcast. How long have you lived in Okotoks for?
So going back in history, maybe before you were born, my wife and I moved to Okotoks circa 1979. So at that time, I was in the lumber business, and I had a chap that I met during that process. He built me a commercial building in Calgary, and he was in the construction business, obviously, Wayne Skogman. So Wayne has become a friend for life, and between the two of us, we've shared quite a few adventures. But one of the adventures was we ended up in Okotoks in 1979, and we both wanted to play a little bit of hockey because we'd played hockey in our previous lives. And so we said, well, let's do that. Well, there was a senior men's league team in town at that time called the Oilers. So I talked to my family doctor, who was a member, and I said, I think I'd like to play. And he said, well, I need you to do some push ups to show me if you're fit enough. So here I am in my doctor's office doing push ups on the floor, and he's deciding whether I'm fit enough. Wayne had also contacted the Oilers, and they said, yeah, well, you can come out for tryouts. So Wayne and I got to chatting, and we said, we just want to play hockey for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to form our own team. And we called friends and business colleagues, and we found an ice time slot at midnight at the old Okotoks Arena. And we borrowed some uniforms from a midget team. By the way, they didn't fit too well.
No,
They were way too
yeah,
small.
for sure.
And anyway, that's how we started out playing in the old arena with these borrowed uniforms. And eventually, we got around to deciding we needed our own uniform and we needed a team name and all that stuff. So Dave Gregory's wife, Gail, designed a logo for us. And we decided to name our team the Spoilers as a bit of a knock against the Oilers, who had kind of rebuffed us as amateur players.
Yeah.
And away we went. And so I need to show you the logo. I don't know if
Sure,
your
I'd love
camera
to see
can
the logo, and
pick
then
this up.
you could even
So
email
this
them
is
to
the
me
logo
afterwards.
that Gail Gregory designed for us, and it's been with us ever since. I don't know if you can see that.
I can't, but we can certainly edit it in so we can see it
Oh,
for
we can
sure.
catch that later. No big
Yeah,
deal,
yeah.
but just fun.
Do you have one like in paper that I can just look at it just for a quick second, or no? If not, that's okay.
I can email it to you. I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just
absolutely. You
yeah,
can
sure.
email
I'll
it to
just
me and
do
we
that.
can.
So we had an initial meeting in Wayne's house and got this whole thing rolling. And our first games were played, as I said, in the old arena, which was beside the Sheep River, in the location where the old library is currently
Okay.
located.
Yes.
And it was an interesting building. There were stands in there for maybe about 500 people or so, but beneath the stands was just a dirt floor.
Yeah.
That's where everybody threw their garbage. The boards in the arena were about 6 feet off the ice, so nobody clambered over the boards. You had to go through the door. And the supports for the ceiling, the support poles, ran right off the top of the boards. So if you happened to run into one of those, you were dead. It was
Oh
just
my gosh.
over. And
Yeah.
there was one measly little shower, and sometimes there was hot water, but nevertheless, it was good fun, and we got started. But eventually, the fire marshal condemned the building as being unsafe, and that forced the construction of our triplex, which of course you know well today. And eventually, we moved to playing our games in the triplex. Our first uniforms were, and I have a sample here and I can't show you, were donated by Pete Western's customer who had some kind of business in Calgary. And he gave us a beautiful set of uniforms, a home set and an away set. And these uniforms served us for years and years and years until one of the wives decided that they smelled a little bit.
I'm
and
sure.
decided to wash them and dry them, and they shrunk. They shrunk so bad we had to buy new uniforms.
Right.
But we donated those uniforms to a soccer team in Costa Rica.
Wow.
They
Okay.
they cut the sleeves off and hemmed them, and they were so proud to wear them.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Did one of
But we
your
loved those
teammates
uniforms.
or team members travel to Costa Rica to deliver them, or?
Well, there's another side story. Wayne and I ended up in an enterprise in Costa Rica. We built with a couple of other spoilers. We built a 4-unit condo, which we utilized during the cold months here, February and
Yes.
January, and we rented it out when we weren't there.
Okay.
Another story, quiz question for you. How many pools, swimming pools in Costa Rica have the spoiler logo in the tile in the bottom of the pool? The
I'm
answer is
gonna
three.
3. Okay.
Three.
How did you guys
We
get
had a
the
lot of
logo
fun in
down
Costa
there?
Rica as well. So friends for
That's
life. And
yeah.
Carl Tamaro and Benno Klippenstein were Wayne and my partners in that venture in Costa Rica.
Right.
But we decided we needed a team bus. So, because we're trying to go to all these different little towns to play these away games or visitor games. And so we bought a bus, and we bought it from a religious order. And I think they were called the Fathers of Brotherly Love, but maybe it was the Brothers of Fatherly Love. I can't quite remember. But it was blue. And so we towed it out to Harry Jonker's acreage and sandblasted it and painted it the team colors. And we took all the seats out, turned a couple of them backwards, and installed tables in between so we could play cards on our road trips on these tables.
So was it a school bus,
Yeah, it
basically?
was essentially a
Yeah.
converted school bus.
Okay.
And the tables had a slot in each corner to hold a liquid refreshment, a beer perhaps, on
Perhaps,
these
yes.
road trips. And we also installed, if there was a long road trip and you drank too much beer, it didn't make sense to stop along the way. So we installed a funnel at the front of the bus in the stairwell. So the bus could keep rolling, and the funnel was utilized for these long trips.
And where did the funnel drain? Did it stay on the bus?
Onto the roadway. I'll tell you a story about that. So the first bus was a great bus, but there was no heat in it except for the driver, and it howled and made just a terrible noise. We burned through 3 motors on that bus, but it took us to a lot of places. It took us out to Vancouver Island for
Really?
some tournaments and plays
Yeah.
out there, and down to Great Falls and back. We had great fun with that bus. But eventually, we sold it and bought a new bus. And this was a much improved, another school bus, and we did the same internal arrangements. By the way, we sold the old bus to an old timers team in Saskatchewan. They loved that bus so much they renamed their team the Spoilers.
Oh, really? Okay. Right on. Yeah. So they didn't have
But
to
the
do
new
much
bus
work
was
to the bus.
propane powered and much quieter, and there was heat for most people. It was just a far, far improvement. Wayne Weeb purchased a nice big flat screen TV and a massive stereo system, and it was just a fantastic bus by comparisons. We had a little bit of trouble managing the propane. Sometimes we'd run out because we couldn't gauge it very well.
Right, for sure.
It served us extremely well.
Yeah.
And then that bus, we sold it as well and purchased another bus. And this one is beautiful. That's the one we have today. And it's painted black with spoilers written down both sides. And it's diesel powered and heat for everybody. And it has a stereo system, about 100,000 watts of some sort.
Oh my gosh. So is this another school bus or did you?
Another school bus.
Okay, so 3 school buses.
Yeah, yeah, we had great fun with these buses.
Kidding.
Just the buses weren't always perfect. And one of our trips back from Great Falls, the bus was struggling to make it up the slightest little incline. So we kind of puttered into Shelby, Montana, and struggled to find a mechanic to take a look at the carburetor or whatever was the problem on a Sunday afternoon. But we found one. We found a garage that was open, and Pee Wee was the mechanic. And Pee Wee wasn't Pee Wee. He was rather grande, as a matter of fact.
Okay, yeah.
Pee Wee tinkered away with the carburetor, and then he said, "Well, look, why don't you drive it back and forth a little bit on the parking lot here so we can see if I've got it." And there was a little skiff of snow on the parking lot, and the guy drove it back and forth. And finally, Pee Wee says, "Hold it, hold it, hold it." he says, something's leaking here. And he put his hand into the snow and did this. And he says, not antifreeze. Poor Pee Wee.
Was it and had something to do with the funnel that we mentioned earlier?
Is the funnel at work.
Yeah,
So
poor
every
Pee
year
Wee.
we would have a year-end awards party, and we would rent the Masonic Hall, and we'd bring in a DJ and play music, and Wayne Gannett would always have an ice sculpture of some sort to celebrate the end of the year. And we would pick out various guys on the team and award them fun prizes for their performance or lack thereof during the
Yes.
year. Art Wishke was our finance guy, and he was forever dropping his gloves, losing his gloves on the ice. So we gave him a set of gloves with, the string that little kids have to keep
Yes.
their
Yeah.
mitts on in the winter that
Yeah.
goes up through around the neck, etc.
Yeah.
So that was his hockey gloves. But we would also award people for just silly things. So Harry Jonker was one of our favorite targets. So one year, Harry won a series of 18 awards. He says he still has each of those trophies, including the much coveted Horse's Ass Award. Poor Harry, favorite
Yeah.
target.
Well, that sounds like an award I could win, no problem. Right
Yeah.
there.
Benno Klippenstein decided that we needed players' cards, like the trading cards they have for
Absolutely,
hockey
you do,
players and
for
baseball
sure.
players. So
Yeah.
he made up a series of players' cards, which today are collector's items. Everybody wants one of those cards. I have mine in a treasured
Have you got
spot.
them appraised? Do you know what kind of
They're worth a lot of money today for sure. We
Sure.
also we're big into technology.
Yeah.
Because we had to organize, we played a Friday night scrimmage just amongst ourselves, and then another day during the week we'd play an exhibition game, either home or away, depending on the ice time availability, etc. And we needed to organize people to show up for these exhibition games, so we rented a telephone line and had a telephone answering system built on that would give the time, date, location for these games, etc. So it saved a lot of phoning and trying to track people down. And eventually, we built a website. Great website. We put all the rookie profiles up there. We harangued a few people. We put a few jokes on there, and we put the schedule, of course, which was the most critical piece. And we would announce the upcoming awards party and etc. And thank people for their contributions, etc. And we had the website for quite a few years, and it was excellent until one year we forgot to renew the registration, and somebody glommed onto our URL and promptly offered to sell it back to us for an enormous price, which of course we refused. But we also published a newsletter, so we would mail out newsletters to the guys every month or so, and sort of an irregular schedule.
Mm-hmm.
In the newsletter, we'd announce the schedules, etc., and awards and all those things. And one time we put up an announcement that Ray Blinch and Mike Daly were going off to Las Vegas to the World of Concrete conference. Mike Daly was a concrete guy. Ray Blinch's wife knew nothing of Ray going to Vegas, and of course it was all a bluff.
So there was no concrete conference going on in
No,
Vegas?
there was no concrete conference. Ray got into big trouble at home for a little while. And everybody had nicknames. And so the nicknames would be put on the back of your jerseys. And if you just put your own plain name up there, you could almost guarantee somebody's going to abscond with that sweater. And next time you showed up, it would have a nickname on it. And all those nicknames now are on the ceiling of the new bus. So you can jump on the bus and read number 11. In my case, was One Punch. And that came from a game we played in Fairview.
Fairview.
In Calgary. I strode up the ice and I took the puck off the opposition guy, and he turned around and swung his stick at me, caught me right in the kidneys. And I looked, and there's the referee standing right there, and I was pretty sure he's not going to do anything. So one punch was all I got in, and I was kicked out of the game. My poor wife showed up driving all the way in from Okotoks to see me play hockey, and there I am sitting in the stands.
Get the boot. Yeah.
But everybody had a nickname, and we enjoyed that part of it. We in the newsletter, we're pretty intelligent forecasters in those days. We predicted in November of 1983, one of our spoilers, Bill Robertson, was going to eventually be the mayor of Okotoks.
Really?
And he was.
Wow.
How's that for predictability?
That's
Pretty
pretty
good.
great. Yeah, absolutely. That's
So
fantastic.
with our exhibition games instituted, we we were out for fun. We weren't out to necessarily win or beat up people. And so we instituted this practice called penalty beer. So if one of our guys took a penalty, he was assessed a fine of a 6-pack of beer that the rest of the team would eventually get to enjoy. So that kind of kept us on the straight and narrow.
Oh,
And
did
it
it?
helped us a lot with teams that other teams struggled with. So, for example, we played the Eden Valley native team,
Yes.
and we played the Gleason Blackfoot Deerfoot team.
Yes.
And we never got into trouble with those guys because we were there for fun, and so were they.
Yeah.
And so the penalty beer with other teams that we played against, we racked up a lot of penalty beer, which we got to enjoy on the bus.
That's
So
awesome.
one of our guys invited us to play a tournament in Lethbridge, our first tournament that we ever went to, Ken Edwards. And we had no idea what a tournament was all about. So we drove down to Lethbridge and entered this tournament. We got just demolished. We played 3 games. The opposition team scored 43 goals on us. We
3 games.
1 goal. So at the end, they had a bit of a banquet, and we went to the banquet and enjoyed ourselves. And I grabbed the microphone at this banquet and I thanked our hosts for the wonderful tournament that they provided and how much fun we'd enjoyed. And we decided that we'd had so much fun, we're going to have our own tournament. And none of you bastards are invited.
That's
So we
smart.
decided to have and we did have our own tournament
Did you?
at the triplex.
Yeah.
And we invited all kinds of teams, and we always awarded an MVP award.
Mm-hmm.
So all the teams we played, we eventually select the most valuable player. And Jack McKay, whose family owned McKay Pontiac Buick on McLeod Trail, donated a car. It was a used vehicle that had been traded in, but they ran and everything else. And so we would award a car to the most valuable player. And of course, our friend Harry Jonker 1 year became the MVP.
Yes.
We found a car that was identical to the car that Harry owned. So we awarded him the car, and then we traipsed him out to the parking lot to show him his new car, which of course we decorated. We bolted on all kinds of beer cans. There was a set of Longhorns on the front grill. There was a 4-foot fluorescent lamp inside for the interior lamp, etc. And poor Harry, here he is. He thought we'd wrecked his car.
Yes.
And once he got inside and sat behind the steering wheel, he finally figured out it really wasn't his car, but he had an extra car.
I'm sure he was a little concerned there for a bit.
Yeah, poor Harry. He's our oldest living spoiler. But we had a lot of fun with our own tournaments, and we would always invite the native teams from Eden Valley or Gleason to join us. And George Studhorse was the manager for the Blackfoot Deerfoot 1 year. And when the teams came, we would have the community room upstairs, and we would serve beer and some food and things like that. And Daryl Farkas always produced chili. So you would have chili on a bun. Mm-hmm. But we had 3 bowls set out: hot, medium, and mild. Because Daryl was an expert at making chili. Mm-hmm. The joke was they were all hot.
They were all the same.
It didn't matter which one you did. They were all hot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With George Studhorse, as each of the teams came in, we would give them tickets, a beer ticket for each one of their guys. After the game, they'd go up and have a beer. So we gave the tickets to George, and he proceeded up to the community room and drank them all himself.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
But we had a lot of fun at our own tournaments, and we always awarded prizes at the banquet. And one of the prizes was a door prize. It was an actual door.
You get to take it home with you, I'm sure, too.
Yeah,
wow,
take it home.
That's amazing.
We also played ball. So, of course, you can't play hockey all year round. And so in the summertime, we signed up for the local slow pitch league. And we also ran our own ball tournament as well. So we parked the spoiler bus down at Lions Park and fill it full of beer. And we'd get on the microphone, which I'm sure the poor folks across the river could hear all the announcements of the games as they were going on and all the product that we sold during the games. So good fun playing ball. And we also did golf tournaments as well. So we would terrorize the course at Nanton, and we also played golf out on Vancouver Island as well. And Kevin Huey, who ran Hi Ho Gas and Oil at the time, they had a bakery there as well. So Kevin joined us and loaded up one of the carts with a big tray of his glazed donuts, and but he took a corner a little too sharp, and the donuts spilled all over the course.
Man.
We had lots of fun. On the Vancouver Island, we had some fishing expeditions while we were there, playing a bit of hockey and playing a bit of golf. And Don Eady, one of our guys, he managed to sell bingo cards on the ferry.
Yeah.
Elaine Eisenberg managed to drop a 25-pound salmon off the dock that disappeared. And Harry Jonker lost his wallet on the same dock.
Jeez.
One of our captains imbibed a little too much, and so one of our guys had to drive the boat.
Yeah.
He got a new nickname out of that, Dock Rammer.
Okay.
Al Fraser decided that we needed license plates. So you would get your own personal license plate with of course the Spoiler logo and your team number and your nickname on it. I have mine proudly hanging up in my shop. Some guys, myself included, figured that eventually you get so old you can't play hockey anymore. You don't recover from those injuries. So we established the Spoiler Investment Club, which still runs today, and I'm a member of that. And we actually make a bit of money, if you can believe that. And we tend to spend a big chunk of it on our annual general meeting at a restaurant somewhere.
Yeah.
And every year we would try to go to Great Falls for a tournament. We play the Great Falls Selects, and they're a really decent hockey team. We didn't win very often, but they were great hosts, and they made sure we had a great time on our trips.
Yeah.
So the Spoilers also were big into community, Carlin. So in the early days, Rick Ritz and Harry Jonker organized a trading thing for young people to trade in their skates from the year before and get another pair at literally no cost. And so that was a way of helping young folks, young hockey players, get new skates for the next year. We also did some fundraising for the Okotoks Stingray swim team and made sure that they had money for coaches and things like that. As I mentioned, those shrunken sweaters were donated to the young guys in Costa Rica, soccer players.
That's a great story.
Later efforts, Wayne Weeb ran a program. Matter of fact, at our banquet on Saturday, 2 weeks ago, for the 45th anniversary of the Spoilers, Wayne Weeb raised $1,000 for prostate cancer.
Wow.
Which has been an ongoing cause for the team.
Yeah.
And the Spoilers undertook to rebuild the Lions Park after the 2013 flood. So we have one guy, Jamie Kuntz, who's an absolute master with a skid steer and managed to reshape the diamond as to what it is today. And currently, Grady and Darla Kinnison run an annual Christmas event where we collect and develop hampers for the needy, and that's been ongoing. So thanks to those guys.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
Do a really good job at that. So our oldest living Spoiler, Harry Jonker, lives on an acreage not too far from me. And Harry, a constant contributor and sort of the brunt of a lot of our jokes and pranks. But I told you about the car that we did for him and all the awards that he won. So we invited him to the 45th anniversary, but he couldn't come. He'd decided that he needed to adjust the float on his septic tank and slipped into the tank.
No.
Yeah. So his wife had to call 911 to rescue Harry. And
oh my gosh.
Once they got him out of the tank, the EMS guy decided to examine him at the end of a 10-foot pole.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding.
And Dave Barton said that was a pretty shitty deal, we thought. So
exactly.
Harry's one of the finest, let me tell you that.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
The anniversary celebrations we held at the Elks Hall, we had about 120 people in attendance. And like I said, we raised $1,000 for prostate cancer.
Amazing.
And the life of the Spoilers goes on. Let me tell you, it's a wonderful organization. And the guys are out for fun. And as you can probably tell, we have a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, you're just oozing of excitement for the Spoilers and what you've done in the past and what you're going to continue to do in the future. And it's we should go back and do a timing of how much we actually talked about hockey in this podcast, because it was very little.
It's a minor part.
No, I know, but you guys are still rolling though, right? Like you guys are
Absolutely.
still
Yeah,
like, what does your
absolutely. We've got a
schedule?
new generation. We've got a new bus. Yeah, the life goes on.
That's amazing. And you're playing every Friday night, or do you have some away
Yeah,
games?
and
Or
scrimmage every Friday night, and then an exhibition game once a week. I no longer play, of course, because my body's past the age where I can
right,
recover from injuries.
right. Do you still make it out to a few of the games?
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
No,
And the
that's
post game
amazing.
celebration.
What a great thing. Like, I've heard of the spoilers. In fact, someone invited me out last year, and I almost came out a few times, and then the scheduling and all that stuff just didn't work out. But I would love to lace it on for the spoilers at some point. And I honestly didn't know that it was so much more than just hockey, right? And
Yeah,
it's
Carlin, get a hold of Brent Hankey. I think I sent you his coordinates. Brent's the current leader, but Wayne Scobin is our president for life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And are you guys currently, is your roster filled up, or are you guys still looking for skaters?
Always looking for contributors, Carlin, and not necessarily on talent, but on your ability to contribute.
Yeah, that's amazing. Ron, what a great story. And what a great story for Okotoks, right? And it's stories like this. It's people like you and the group of spoilers that make Okotoks so great. And thank you for what you're doing. It's not, like I said, it certainly very quickly became not about hockey, but it became, how can the spoilers help other people? And
Exactly.
it's a fabulous thing that you've done and continue to do. So thank you so much, Ron, and thank you for sharing your story today.
Okay, great, Carlin. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we look forward to having you back.